We all know Steam has the biggest library of free-to-play games and we usually talk about the most popular stuff. But today in this video, I'm gonna talk about 10 of the most underrated free-to-play games that I find recently on Steam. And they're all pretty unique and very fun to play, but I'm sure you probably never even heard about some of these games. Anyway, as I previously mentioned, they all are completely free-to-play games. You can download them right now on Steam. So let's go ahead and talk all about it, starting with a game called Unfortunate Spaceman. Initially released back in 2020, it's basically a free-to-play survival horror investigation style of a game where you play as a spaceman working in this failing outpost, but not everyone working with you is who they claim to be. So the game is kind of a mix between betrayal and deception. I would say somewhat similar to a game like Among Us. You can either play as the spacemen who try to call for the rescue, at the same time try to stick together and hunt down the monster, and if you are the monster you have to lay traps, disguise as other players and try to hunt down all the innocent spacemen. Or you can either play as a traitor who will do anything in their power to sabotage the rescue plans and try to help the monster win the game. It's primarily a multiplayer game, but it does have a solo/co-op story and a survival mode. Unfortunately, the game is a little bit old, so the player count is very low right now, but if you still got a bunch of friends to play alongside with you, it is definitely a fun game to play right now. Next up, we got a pretty cool chill game for those who love to play this type of a cozy style relaxing games, and this is called Chill Corner. It's nothing but a very simple and colorful idle game which focuses on chilling, relaxing and focusing. The game is filled with many beautiful and colorful rooms, and also the game lets you customize and decorate them to your liking, and also got a full playlist of chilling lo-fi music that helps you to kind of relax and focus. And also you can customize your character, your pet, at the same time doing some little in-game quest. It's a very simple little game, may not be for everyone, but if you're in the mind for a very relaxing and chill game, it is a game you should definitely check out. And right now the game is having very positive reviews on Steam, and also the system requirements are pretty low specs friendly. Moving on, next up we got a very unique game that I haven't really seen before, and that is basically a drone simulator, and it is called FPV Skydive Drone Simulator, and it is a free-to-play realistic drone racing style of a game with some freestyle elements, and honestly a concept that I haven't really seen before, and no wonder why this game is super underrated on Steam. The game has a lot of realistic physics involved, give you like a very immersive flighting experience, and you participate in this super fast first-person drone racing in both multiplayer and single-player scenarios. There's a pretty cool set of maps and game modes including racing, freestyling, concept, flight school, but definitely not the most popular game when it comes to multiplayer, but still you can enjoy the game completely solo single player, which is a massive bonus. Right now the game is having very positive reviews on Steam, and the system requirements are also quite acceptable. Galaxy Life is a free-to-play kind of a strategy-based city building style of a game where you explore and build your own space colony, attack and defend against other enemies and rule the universe. The galaxy is literally filled with interesting planets and characters, different creatures, and you will find danger every single corner. And overall it is kind of a multiplayer based social style of a game, and if you ever played games like Clash of Clans, which is a very popular game by the way, and this game is kind of similar to that in terms of gameplay, but in a totally different concept and a universe. And compared to all the games that we previously mentioned, this is a relatively popular game on Steam, having close to like 400 daily concurrent players right now, and overall reviews are very positive. So if you're into this type of city building MMO style of games, this game is highly recommended. Next up we got probably the most coolest game on our today's list, and that is Deductor. It's another free-to-play kind of a social deduction style of a game similar to games like Among Us, but this game is way more fun in my opinion. It is a very simple social game where you backstab your co-workers or either get mad at them for backstabbing you. So it is primarily an online multiplayer game, so you can play with up to 6 to 10 players in a game. So you absolutely need to have some friends to get the best out of this. And the game also does support proximity voice chat, makes the game even more fun to play in my opinion. Right now the game is pretty underrated, only having about 200 daily concurrent players on Steam, but overall reviews are very positive and the system requirements are also quite acceptable. Alright, before moving on to the top 5 spot guys, if you enjoy this type of content and still haven't subscribed to our channel, please make sure to go ahead and do so, because we cover tons of free to play games like this. So drop a like and a sub, much appreciated. Alright, moving on at number 5, we got Unsolved Case, a free-to-play, cooperative, puzzle/mystery solving style of a game where you and your teammate have to put the detective badges as you collaborate, communicate, and try to crack down the codes and solve the riddles and ultimately catch the cryptic killer. It's primarily a co-op game, so you need to have a partner to play this, and honestly the game has a pretty interesting set of puzzles with very unique ideas, and combining that with a pretty cool comic book like art style makes this game a very cool little indie game. It's a relatively short game at first, take you about 2 hours to complete. Overall reviews are very positive on Steam, having over 4,500 plus reviews. Overall it's a pretty simple little game, so you don't really have to worry about the system requirements. If you're a fan of card collecting / strategy type of games, next up we got a pretty awesome game, and that is called Patrikios. It's basically a free-to-play tactical card collecting and a strategy game filled with some dark humor and dark fantasy. There are more than 120 plus cards to collect and complete your deck with powerful Patrikios and different abilities, and it's all about planning and mastering your tactic and strategies. I know this type of strategy games may not be for everyone, but this game does look like a pretty fun one and it's quite underrated right now, and it is an online PvP game and it does support cross-platform multiplayer since the game both available on Android and iOS, so you won't really have to worry about finding matches online despite having low play count on Steam. So if you're a fan of this type of strategy style games, I recommend you guys to give it a shot on this one. It's completely free to play, and also you can run the game on a very potato system. Moving on, next up we got a super interesting little game called Grapple Galore. It is a game that I previously mentioned in my channel maybe a couple of times, but it's quite underrated on Steam despite having a very interesting and fun gameplay loop. It is basically a free to play, fast-paced arena style of a shooter with a super fun physics movement mechanics with a grappling hook and pretty funny looking characters and weapons. But when it comes to gameplay, the grappling hook's definitely the star of the show. You can use the grappling hook to swing around through the map, and also you can use it to grab different weapons along the way, and also you can pull other players towards you and simply eliminate them from the arena. And on top of all that, the game also got a pretty interesting physics-based ragdoll animation system which is very fun to look at, and if you got a bunch of friends to play alongside with you, you can literally jump into arena and had a super fun time playing. Right now the game is having very positive reviews on Steam, having over 3,200 plus reviews, and overall system requirements are honestly not that heavy. Moving on, next up we got Microworks, another pretty underrated 16-player co-op, social and a party style of a game filled with tons of mini games to complete. It is extremely fun to play, but honestly not a lot of people know about the game right now. It is primarily an online co-op game. You can play with up to 16 players, and it filled with a massive arsenal of mini games with different variations, and you have to complete this objective faster and better than your opponents in order to earn more points and climb higher in the scoreboard. And also each and every stage ends with a massive boss battle where you have to stick together and complete, and I believe there are more than 15 different bosses in the game. It is very much fun to play and filled with a great number of mini games like kart racing, climbing, ghost hunting, bomb rush. There is so much stuff to do. Overall a pretty fun co-op game to play with your friends. Right now the game is pretty underrated, only having about 1,000 reviews on Steam, and they are very positive. System requirements are also quite acceptable in 2024. Moving on at number 1, we got a game called Let It Die. I don't know how many of you guys actually heard about this game, but despite releasing in 2018, I very recently found out about this game when I browsed through the Steam on my Steam Deck. So it's basically a free-to-play Souls-like survival action and kind of a mix between martial art fighting and horror survival. It is a Japanese-based game with a very interesting and a weird story where you fight your way to the top of this weird tower-like structure while taking advices from the character called Uncle Death, and he's literally a demon reaper with a skateboard, and throughout the story you're gonna have a lot of fun and weird interactions with him. On your journey to the top of the tower, along the way you will have to obtain a lot of different weapons, armor, and different gear from the fallen soldiers, and also you have to stay healthy, eating mushrooms, frogs, and all the weird creatures. It's a pretty unique and a difficult game to complete with lots of gameplay elements, and according to how long to beat, it took you about 90 hours to beat the main story, so it's definitely going to be a very grindy experience. But despite everything, the game is having mostly positive reviews on Steam, having more than 5,300 plus reviews, and the system requirements are also very much acceptable and also ideal game to run if you have a Steam Deck, and all the gameplay that you're seeing right now is basically captured on a Steam Deck, so overall it performs really well. Well, there you have it guys. These are some of the most underrated free-to-play Steam games that I recently found out on Steam, and I hope this video helpful to you and find at least a couple of these games interesting. As always guys, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to go and drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned. I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Stay safe.